Hey, what's up guys, Thetcglover here, coming with a video today. Right, so today is going to be my Gadget deck profile. Now it's just going to be very brief, and or hopefully it's brief anyway. There's a few cards missing from it, but basically it's because people ask me if I have a card for my locals, and I'm like, I do have it, it's just in my deck. And then they're like, okay, I'll give you this and this for it, and I'm like, that's actually a really good deal, overvaluing my cards like that. So they're willing to buy my cards off me like that, so that's the reason why there's cards missing, but there's only 3 cards missing and so on like that. So let's quickly go through the deck. So anyway, we got 3 green gadgets, 3 red gadgets, and 3 yellow gadgets. This is the standard 9 build. You can play 6, but it requires a different kind of ratio of cards. 6 is fine this format, but I just feel like you want to have a constant stream of them. I don't mind opening more than one of them. 3 tin goldfish. We basically, the benefit that this has over other rank 4 spam decks is basically that this card allows you to make a 2200 Abyss Dweller, which is really relevant this format against everything. 3 Thetcglover. I still play this, but I don't play chain summoning anymore because I dropped it for trap cards. This is still really good. It still lets you to do stuff like, for instance, with Gear Frame, you can just combine them together and you can do some cool stuff. Stuff like Dagasto Emerald and the other rank 4s, which are all really good. It doesn't really matter what you have. Doesn't necessarily have to have a gadget. You can just sort of do this. You don't need to have a consistent sort of stream of cards. You can just have Thetcglover and just do the rank 7. Doesn't matter what you do. Gear Frame and 2 Fortress. Now if you're running the 6 gadget build, then you run 3 of each and you run a cannon as well, which is more machiner based, but I just feel like 2500 is good. It's just like I prefer to have a more consistent stream of cards rather than just Gear Frame and Gadget with machiners and stuff. So that's pretty much it. You can run more, as many as you want really. It's 2 Redox. This is a proxied one. Yeah, you run 2 Redox because it's 2 Redox. You don't want to run more than that because it starts to get cloggy and you start seeing it too often in your opening hand. It's always a great, fantastic 3000 defense wall whenever you need it, so very good card. We run the hand traps. We have Swift Scarecrow. This is in here because it's obviously searchable by Gadget X, but also because decks are becoming a lot more OTK-ish, a lot more, like Dragon Rulers, Mermails, and Dragoonities. Basically everything that's relevant now is really pushing for damage quite quickly. So this card buys you another turn and adds to the Redox targets. And we have 2 Veilers and 2 Maxis. I was running 3 of both of them, but I've now sided 1 of each. You don't want to see Maxis when you're playing stuff like Eva Swarms, and you don't want to see it when you're playing Fire Fists, and you want to see Veilers when you play Fire Fists. You don't want to see it when you play stuff like, I guess, Mermails, because it doesn't really matter if you negate their stuff, they still get their pluses anyway. Anyway, for the spell cards, there's obviously a lot less spell cards than it used to be. So we have Mind Control, Dark Hole, 2 double summons, and 2 MST. The 3rd MST is in the side, and double summon, obviously we're not playing chain summon anymore, so it's more of a, not as fast, but because of the fact that Shotmaster is gone, you have no real need to go completely crazy and neg yourself. You can just keep summoning Gadget X and keep +1ing every turn. So provided that you support yourself with good back row, you can easily just play this spell lineup and it's completely fine. And for the trap cards, I have 2 cards missing here. These 2 are Vanity's Emptiness. I will put a picture of the card here in case you haven't seen it and you want to quickly look over the card. You chain it when your opponent activates a card that special summons, like Dragon Rulers, like Mermails. So obviously when your opponent MSTs a card on your field, then this card dies as well. But generally you just use it for that +1, and if they haven't got a way to get rid of it, then it's a very good lockdown combined with stuff like Gadget X and things. So it's now the MVP of the format. Basically, you have to run it really, even your side or something like that, obviously, unless your deck can't handle it. Torrential is Torrential, you run Torrential, it's obvious. Duh. A compulsory, it's kind of compulsory. We have 2 Phoenix Chains. Phoenix Chains is so dope, this format, so good. It negates so much stuff. You want to negate as many things as possible. You could run 3 Veilers, but there are times when you want to stop attacks as well. Save your Gadget X and give it another search. Bottomless. In my online version of this build, I'm not running Bottomless anymore, mainly because I wanted it to be 40 cards. But to be honest, because you're running 9 gadgets, you can easily go up to 42 and it's completely fine. So Bottomless is fine. You just use it to kill things. Things that you don't want to have in the grave. 2D Prisons, same thing as Bottomless, except that they go into the battle phase, they attack thinking that you're probably going to have a bluff MST set, and then you don't, and it's like, oh no. And Solemn Warning. Solemn Warning. It's kind of a solemn warning to you that you must play this card. Sorry for the bad puns, it's not very funny. And for the extra deck we have 2 Gargant X. People are like, oh yeah, why don't you have a Redox? Why don't you have Vanity's Emptiness but you have 2 Gargant X? Well, because I bought these cards online, because you have to play 2 of them at least. The way that the deck is now, you basically need a constant stream of searches, so that's kind of how it is. Really good card. It's obviously the backbone of the deck and what gives you that +1, because you go Thetcglover, Gadget, search, so you've only negged 1 yourself, and then you summon Gargant X, search again, so you've gone neg 0, but you've actually gained a card as well, because you have 6 cards in hand now, and you also have a Gargant X on the field. You protect it with Vanity's Emptiness, with a warning, with whatever the hell you want, and then next turn you can draw, then search again, and you go up to like 7 or 6 cards in hand, or whatever the hell it is. So obviously fantastic. And obviously because you're running Tactical Kage, same thing as Gargant X, you run King of the Throw Imps at 1. I used to run 2 of them, but you know, obviously never goes into it anymore. Digasto Emerald, this is for when things get crazy and you have a really bad hand and you want to kind of like clear it up and fix it. You know, you get your gadgets in your graveyard when you have too many of them in your hand, and then with like Fortress, and then you can shuffle this back in. You can do this to shuffle all of your Xyz monster back in, which you'll summon repeatedly, and all that crap. So it's a really fantastic card. At the very last thing is that obviously if you had a Gem Knight Pearl and it died earlier in the game, you can use this card and bring it back, and then you attack for like 4/2 or whatever it is. Crazy Box. Basically, this card can be anything you want, because I don't really see the point of this card anymore, because I know that Eradicator is relevant still, but to be honest, it's at 1 and I never ever draw that card, even when I play against Prophecy. I mean, I have to side in Imperial Iron Wall now to get anything done, so it doesn't really matter. I could easily take this out and put in Dracasac, put in Direwolf, but now Direwolf is like 35 each. I'm not going to bother getting one. Gemini Pearl, it goes with Digasto Emerald, but it also gets over Eva Swarm Ophion, which is still a relevant card this format. Maestroke, now more relevant than ever. Really good card, just overall broken. Abyss Dweller, now that Murmurs are still relevant, and you know, there are now and again you play against decks which activate cards in the grave, you can actually use this card and stop it. When you play online though, you can't activate this card before the draw phase, unless you play Duel Network obviously. So very frustrating, but I know for a fact this card is brilliant, so obviously you combine it with Tin Goldfish for the 2200. And Cargo Cowboy, now that I have this card, obviously everyone has a card, one of these cards, you basically play this no matter what. Really good. You attack with all your stuff, and then you make Cowboy and they're like, oh shit, game. Utopia, Papillo Imperative, you could easily take this out and put in a Dracasac or whatever the hell you wanted. So Papillo Imperative is great for those times when you need to finish them off and kill a token or something like that. Sigma and Ouroboros, these two are your free material summons. The Sigma it's basically personal preference. You can easily just play a Thunder Spark Dragon if you want, because you know, if you're playing against, it depends on your format, your meta really. It's like, I play this because I like to just take their stuff and attack, and Ouroboros is always the card that you're going to go into. Obviously I miss Shockmaster greatly, and it was a great card for the deck, so it's a shame that I had to leave. My only rank 7 is Master Blades, because I'm not getting a Dracasac now that they've gone up again. Same thing as Diamond Direwolf. I like playing budget because it means that when I win, it's like I feel like I won with skill rather than won with money. That being said, if I can find a Dracasac and get a good price and stuff like that, then I will play it. So I'm not going to hinder myself just on purpose, just for being a scrub. And lastly is Crimson Blader. Same thing as last format. Now that dragons are still relevant, now that Murmurs are relevant, you can make this card sometimes and it's still great. You know, if you want, you can take this out and put something else. It really depends on your meta as well. If your meta is basically tier 2 decks, then don't play this card. Play something like Stardust Dragon, which is a lot more secure. Or if you need more space for rank 4s, then missing this card out isn't really the end of the world. So that's pretty much it. That's the entire deck as I'm playing it right now. Obviously I posted my side deck on a separate video, so if you want to find out what my side deck is for this format, then definitely do check out my channel and subscribe and all that stuff, and have a look at my side deck, what it is currently. There's stuff like Debunk, stuff like Iron Wall, MST, the extra Maxi, extra Vela, all that stuff. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and comment down below how you feel about the deck. And I'm going to be going to uni on Thursday, so I will be able to make videos. I just won't be able to do deck profiles unless it's online, so it's dependent on how the situation is. I'll let you know if making videos is going to be a difficult situation for me. I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and until next time, the Thetcglover is out.